Hello. Good morning, everyone. First of all, it's a pleasure for the second year in a row to represent Imperial at Optimove Connect. I see a lot of family faces here, part of my team, so really nice to see, and other clients as well, so thank you for coming to this session. This session is an interaction between what we as Imperial are doing together with Optimove. So the idea here is to show and explain how we build our partnership with Optimove, how we define the way of work, and how we are looking forward to leverage all the Optimove capabilities that could fit into our business. So it's a very interactive session. If you have any questions, doubts, I think we'll not have time, but I will be outside for some time, so please feel free. So, first of all, who I am. My name is José Pedro. Everyone call me JP. Originally, I'm from Portugal. I'm based in Amsterdam, and I work for NGP. I will explain what NGP is, part of the Imperial Brands. And I'm the eCRM lead for this business. So today, what we'll talk about. Of course, I need to present the company that I work, the business that I work. I will show and demonstrate what happened since we start kicking off to work with Optimove. So what were the biggest challenge, how we start, why we need a change. I will go then through what we are currently doing together with Optimove. And lately, I will explain a bit how we look to the future. How can we build this partnership? So let's connect for a bit. I hope you enjoy the session. So Imperial Brands. So Imperial Brands is a fast-moving consumer goods business. It's the fourth player in our industry. It's present in more than 120 markets and has around 25,000 employees worldwide. It's a very challenging business by the fact that we try to move into a more meaningful contribution to reduce the smokers or harmful of smoking by building as well new business and new generation products, as we call it. So you will see probably on your left side some of the brands, as we call it, from the traditional industry. So we call it combustibles. For we smoker, maybe you recognize some of these brands. But I work exactly for the other business that represents as well Imperial Brands, that is NGP. So we have brands, call it Blue, Pulze, and Zone X are the most common ones. So I will explain to you what is NGP and why we are here today. Before moving forward, so we belong to the Imperial Brands group. And I think it's important that everyone understand, at least in our industry, in our company, what is the purpose, right? So we want to make a change to the healthier future for moments of we call relaxation and pleasure, right? It's important to understand what is the vision of the company. So we want to build a stronger, challenging business powered by responsibility, focus, and choice. So independent of which business you work in Imperial, we really focus on the consumer. What are the needs of the consumer? How can we give them what they are expecting when it comes to NGP? So what is NGP? Quite interesting name. We call it next generation products. So basically, we are offering adult smokers a range of non-combustible products as an option to quit smoking. So we don't, in my area of expertise, we don't work the combustibles business, so we work the next generation products. So we are dedicated to make a meaningful contribution to help, again, to reduce adult smokers to stop smoking. We are split between three big brands or business groups, as we can call it. So the first one is one of the oldest brands that we have, call it Blue. So it belongs to the EVP category, as we call it, so electronic vaping products. I want to show you here exactly what we are talking about. It's basically a vaping device. I cannot see a lot of faces, but with my interactions with some clients of Optimove, everyone was like, yeah, but you have a lot of flavors. Do you have cannabis? No, we don't have, first of all. can be in the future, okay, but no. So this is our vaping product. After that, we take care as well about heated tobacco. So our main brand is Pulze. So let me show to you. So Pulze is basically a device as well that includes a stick where you heated the stick itself. It's not burning the stick, so it's a different proposition for a different target audience. But again, the purpose is still the same, right? So it's to offer healthier moments for pleasure and relaxation. And we have a third business that currently is based in Nordics and US, is not still under our, we call it domain, that is oral nicotine. Very known in the Nordics countries. Basically, these are pouches that you put under your tongue and give you a kick-off of nicotine. Again, contributing for a healthier future. We have different propositions depending on what the consumer is looking for. That being said, so this was a bit the introduction for the company and the business that I work. So again, the idea of today is to share with you some learnings, some insights, how we build this relationship and partnership with Optimove. So what happened in the past, right? So back in 2019, if I'm not mistaken, so we had a challenge, like everyone had challenge, right? It doesn't matter what is the tooling, but everyone has challenge, you need to look for the solutions. So back in the time, we had software providers across brands, different providers, so it was not automated, was not unified somehow. We have a lot of inconsistency in data governance. Was really difficult to do proper segmentation, personalization, and then because of that, of course, that has a big impact on the performance, how to look to results and engagement. This was back again 2019, so it's not only related with the tool that we are using that time, but was related as well with the business itself. So the business is quite agile. We really change, let's say, the way how we approach the markets. We really changed the way how we develop products. So it was a mix of different circumstances that happened. But yeah, that was the challenge, right? So we identify what were the big problems we had, and we came to the conclusion back in the time that Optimove was the tool that we should look for, right? So here is a bit kind of roadmap, how we start. I will not go into much details, but I would like just to mention that, yeah, partnership started, as you can see, September 2019. So 1 year after we launched Blue, the brand in US. During a certain period of time, we were integrating all our brands or instance with Optimove. Take us a bit of time, so it goes up until 2022, I would say. So in the beginning, we have much more markets that we don't have today. So we closed some of the markets, we closed some of the brands. But I would say that in 2022 was basically when we kick off the NGP or the future of NGP together with Optimove. We passed through a phase of a migration, as we call it, because we changed some, let's say, a data migration. We closed some of the instances, but then we start to kick off with different brands and different markets. So you will see that we have, you cannot see here, but I can tell we have around 18 instances within Optimove. So 9 of them are Blue markets, so every brand has one market, and 8 of them are Pulze. We have one more that we decided some time ago we should have. We call it the staging instance, and I'll explain you later on what is the staging instance. So as you can see, from 2019 until 2023, let's say, we built and we launched, let's say, new markets and new brands. So I think 2023 is when we start, okay, we have the foundations in place, right? We push live all the markets, all the brands that we want. So what is the next step? So between 2023 and 2024 was the year that we decided, okay, what is now needed to go to the next level, right? So currently we have 2 big projects that we are working together with Optimove. One of them is the customer model. So Since we kicked off in 2019, we saw that the customer model is a bit obsolete for the business needs. So we are now working really hard how to reflect this customer model into what is needed. And then we start to deploy as well some real-time capabilities and much more to come. Again, a lot of things happen in the meantime. It's basically explaining why it took a bit of time, right, to achieve the level that we want within Optimove. Again, past, right? We need a change, and the reason why we need a change is because we need to be more centralized, more scalable, and we need to have an holistic eCRM platform. So the idea here is that to have a seamless experience independent of the brand and independent of the market that we work with. The idea is as well that what we build on a global level should be reflected to all our clients, which means our markets. The present. So what is happening today? We decide that to build the future of this partnership, we need to base and look for three main drivers together with Optimove. So three of them, I think they are really important and they are interconnected, are building the partnership, look for standardization, and governance. I will explain now a bit more in detail what we mean by this. So partnership. Basically, partnership is how can Optimove be the right partner that we need in the right moment, right? How can Optimove understand? How can we go to the next level? How can we build a relationship together with Optimove? So a couple of activities were put in place. I don't know if you as a client have the same, but we have clear QBRs, so quarterly business reviews, where basically both parties, we share insights, highlights, lowlights, what is coming next. So I think this is really important that both the business and the partner understand what is coming on, what is outcome, what can be improved, right? So a more short term. We continue to refine ways of work with people that we work together with Optimove, that people that work in my team. We decided a couple of years ago to have weekly meetings where we look, okay, what are the deliverables we need for this week? What is going on? Lately, we even start to work in Scrum or Agile, so we now work together with our customer success manager in sprints. So we define exactly what needs to be delivered in the next sprints, where we put the priorities. We have as well executive business reviews. So this is more high level with higher stakeholders, how we can drive performance. So what are the results of all these activities that we look? And then an important player is professional service. So this is our strategic consultant together with other partners we have. But we really leverage PS to the next level, as we call it. So a really important player. I think Jonathan should be around, but he can give you some more examples. In terms of roadmap, so as I mentioned, strategic service is a really important stakeholder or player for our business. Here's a couple of examples of certain outcomes that comes from QBRs, from weekly meetings, right? So we try to identify together with Optimove where we need to step in, what currently we are not doing and we could leverage, right? Learning as well best practice from other clients. Where are the opportunities, right? And the idea behind is we want to create a roadmap when it comes to touch personalization and product adaptation, right? So it's really important that, again, we are a global team, so everything that we learn and we work together with Optimove and professional service is to serve our markets. So we are there to represent the markets. Second driver, standardization. I think this is one of the most recent ones and really, really important ones. So standardization is not only on the way how we work with Optimove. Here you can see a couple of initiatives, but as well is part of what we call our pillars, right? We want to have a seamless experience independent of the brand of the market that we are working on, right? And this touch different touch points, as we say, or domains, even outside of the eCRM team. But when it comes to work with Optimove, so two things I want to probably to highlight is building all templates, and we call it on master templates. So everything should be the same across the different instances, right? Working together with what we call categories or marketing managers. So the idea is to have a seamless experience, everything looks the same, brand consistency, right? And the second one that I would highlight that impacts more the way how we work with Optimove and the markets is to build standardization, standard automated journey, across the different instances and markets. Third one, governance. This was a big challenge for us, I need to admit. But because it was a challenge, we saw as well an opportunity here, right? So governance goes behind Optimove, goes behind markets, right? So again, the idea is that we need to be aligned and have proper governance way of work in place that touch different touch points, especially the ones that impact more to us. Data governance, so all the data needs to be the same and consistent across brands and markets. We need to be aligned with our main stakeholders that we have the same look and feel, the same way of work, consistent storylines or content across the different instances. And then when it comes to Optimove, it's the same, right? So how can we work together that everyone is in the same boat and understand who owns what, right? So we are there to support and help the markets. We are not there to be the goalkeepers or the police. Here, a clear example or a small screenshot of the CRM maturity curve. I don't know if you are familiar with this, but we work together with Optimove. And here the idea is to understand, right, how we are using Optimove and what could be the next milestone for us. So this is a clear example. It's not up to date, but this really help us as a company and the markets, how can we leverage and make the best use of Optimove as a tool. Of course, a lot of things that are mentioned here, right? We are not there yet because there is no business need to impact certain, I would say, features or capabilities in Optimove. But this is really important to us that we see how we are step by step, how we are building and making the best use of Optimove as a tool. Now, the future. This is for me, one of the most important ones. The business and the industry where we work, again, can be really agile. So what we have today doesn't mean that we have tomorrow, right? We are highly regulated, new propositions coming, but we know the direction, we know the strategy. So I think in the last 1 year and a half, we start to involve more and more Optimove to understand what are our business needs, who are the main stakeholders, what we need to achieve as partners, right? And I think it's really important that the partners understand the business. The partners need to be engaged and connect with us. So it's two-way communication, and you need to be there to build this communication, right? So how we work as a team now, we define quite some, I would say, I call it pillars, but it's the way how we work, right? So we define 5 main pillars how to work, not only with Optimove, but as work as a team, right? So we need to be really good on activation, right? How can we share a plan across different markets and categories and make sure that we activate all the journeys across the different instances? We need to look for standardization. So we need to identify where we don't have consistency. How can we make sure that all the templates, assets, and especially the messaging is there, right? Because again, we create global templates, but then we go into localization or translation. Everything needs to be aligned with the brand guidelines. We look as well to segmentation. Depending on the maturity of the market or the priority markets, as we call it, we set up some segmentation capabilities in what we call all consumer-facing messages. So we try to learn, we try to pilot, and then we even try to scale up. that goes as well into the next step. So optimization, something that we really put time and effort. So we need to learn, we need to do more A/B tests, we need to look for hypotheses and just build the brand and look for new ways how to achieve the targets and KPIs of the business. So one of the things recently that we put a lot of effort and time is optimization. And the last one is analysis. I mean, you can do everything you want in terms of activation, standardization, right? Optimization, but if you don't do a proper analysis and you don't spend time to look to insights, learnings, yeah, the needle doesn't move, right? So one of the things that we put lately as a team is that we need to spend time to look to data, we need to spend time to look to report, and let's come with new ideas, learnings, share with stakeholders, try to improve. Projects about the future. What is the future of eCRM at Imperial, it says here. So, as I mentioned, one of the projects we are looking now is about customer model, right? Customer model we know is not up to date to the business needs. And the reason why, there are different reasons, but basically we need now to look what we call the Omnichannel approach, right? Our business, we work the B2C side of the business. Our business is online and offline, right? Especially the offline have strong players. Offline brings a lot of insights to us. So how can we build and understand the journey of online, offline consumer and the hybrid, as we call it? So hybrid can be someone that may purchase online first time and then go to a retailer shop. So we really need to understand what is the behavior and how can we engage with this, call it active or engaged consumer. So big project for us that was kicked off in September last year. We still need to refine a couple of things, but again, we need to show and demonstrate that the Omnichannel is there to support the business. And it's not purely eCRM, it's increase the engagement, increase the database, and of course, bring sales and revenue to the company, as well as support the offline channel. The second one, this is an interesting one. How can we connect both worlds, as we call it, right? So here is a clear example on the Pulze markets or heated tobacco, where we have on the left side our own platform, as we call it, our website, and the right side we have an example of a retailer in the Polish market. So how can we build a single customer view on both worlds where we don't control one of them indirectly, right? So this is a big project that we are looking forward to. We already kick off with Optimove, but we really need to create a seamless experience independent where the consumer is or is coming from. So clear example how you need to spend time, how you need to engage, how you need to explain and brainstorm how can we build this, right? For Imperial, for the group, and make the best use of Optimove. One other thing that we are exploring, as well mentioned, is a couple of features or capabilities of Optimove, right? I think you heard a couple of them, but we try really to understand, okay, are these features the ones that we need for the business? Do we really need this at the moment? So we always try to create kind of use case. We try always to engage with our stakeholders. Markets, for example, asking, is this OptiPromo the feature that you need for your market, right? We try to think as well globally. We like to deploy features or capabilities on a global level and not per se to a specific market. Track and trigger, I don't know if you remember before, so we just piloted in 2 markets starting last year, and we are now leveraging how to expand track and trigger to other markets and brands. Again, I think these are probably the 3 features we are now trying to leverage and, let's say, customize to our business. I'm almost finishing, but I would like to mention 2 more things. So core capabilities for success. So this is something really that we need to start to put on our mindsets. What is really needed for this partnership to work, right? One, for me, super important, data. So we need to have a clear structure in place. We need to understand exactly what is the data that we need and how to make use of that data, right? The second one goes to insights, right? How can we standardize metrics? How can we look to reporting? And how can we prioritize optimizations, new use cases? And the last one is about what we call experience optimization, right? It's about the end-to-end experience. So if you have the right data, if you have the right insights, how can we optimize and build new use cases that brings customer value and brings business impact? So something as well, we are putting time and effort together with our partners to build these capabilities. And finally, key takeaways, power of partnership. I think this is really important, as I mentioned. You need to be close to your partner. You need to understand what are the business needs from one side to other. You need to partnership as well internally, that everyone understands the value and leverage Optimove as a tool. You need to engage, and here engagement can mean different things, right? So you need to engage with stakeholders. You need to be sure that you need to engage with your customer database. You need to make sure that we are there when it's needed. And the last one is about continuous evolution. So, as I mentioned, the business is changing all the time, right? So how can we refine strategies when we have built the foundations, when we have a clear vision, where we have a clear strategy, but we need to evolve to meet the business needs and the customer needs. So I think this is 3 takeaways that we try to put in place. And for now, I need to say it's going good. Can be improved? Yes. But comparing when I mentioned September 2019, the way how we work together and connect, I think is bringing the outcomes that we need. Thank you so much for your time.